How's your squad looking injury-wise? Or any updates on anybody at all?
Yeah, we're okay. We got through obviously Monday night's game. As I said afterwards, Lys Mousset, he went in for a minor operation on the ligament on a foot injury, so he's out for a little while. So he's the only one missing out of our, at the moment, 24-man squad.
How big a blow is it to lose Moose? Because he's had one or two setbacks, but this one seems a bit of a strange one by all accounts.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I apologised to him afterwards because at the time it just looked as if somebody had just trod on his toe. But looking at it and rewinding it, it was a little bit more sinister than it first looked. The boy in the pre-season friendly had all his weight on Lys's foot and damaged the ligament underneath. Quite an unusual injury, actually. After scanning, decided to have a minor operation. So yeah, it's put him back because and it is disappointing for him and us because he came back in decent shape and looking forward to another season in the Premier League and to build on what he achieved for us last year. I think it was a decent season for Lys, but I think there's still a lot more to come, and we recognise that. He had a few issues being a young man, not being allowed to go home through the pandemic and the lockdown, and he had a few personal issues as well, which we sorted out with him. Birth of his first child as well, not him obviously, but obviously his girlfriend. But coming back out of that, he was in good nick and in a good place. So really disappointing to lose him. But everybody's got these issues. As we've always said, it's been a bit of a broken pre-season for everybody, and hopefully he'll come back and add something to the group.
With that in mind, then, how are you progressing in terms of maybe trying to find another striker?
Yeah, we are. I've been vocal on it. We need to add at the top of the pitch. It's the most important part. We've got a decent selection of players, but we want to add another one, especially with Lys missing for a little while, because it's key and it's where games are decided. You look at the other night; they've capitalised on two individual mistakes. The finish from Jimenez is great. And we've not really capitalised on the chances that they gave us or we created, and it's key. We can't compete with a lot of teams in the division in terms of from the financial point of view. We have to be cute and smart to find players that improve us, and we'll keep doing that. We've made a few inquiries, and hopefully, before the window shuts, we'll get one in to add to the group. It's a decent group of forwards. We've got two or three young boys that are starting on their Premier League journey. Ollie McBurney a year in, Lys Mousset a couple of years in, Ollie Burke, as he's just talked to you regarding it. Different change of position for him. Obviously, had a little bit of experience, but not a great amount. And obviously, the two sort of older ones. David McGoldrick and Billy add something a little bit different to the group, but yeah, I'd definitely love to add one in there, and confident we can do that.
I was going to ask, how difficult is it in terms of finances at the moment? Because following Balogun at Arsenal is one that was talked about, but the valuations appear to be miles apart.
Oh yeah, it is. It's difficult. You look at Ollie Watkins coming out of the Championship and going for that price that obviously was talked about by you guys. It's a huge amount of money, and it's not always just the fee as well. It's the wages, and we need to keep a cap on the wages situation as well. It's not free transfers and giving somebody 50, 60, 70 grand a week. We're just not in that market. So that's I respect that, and I've said all along, this is where the club's at. I think the Liverpool manager mentioned it as well, and they're an incredibly established, historic, trophy-laden football club, and they're talking about not competing with some clubs at the top end of the Premier League. So it obviously works its way down to us. We're a team that's come out of League One. We're not being a yo-yo club between the Premier League and Championship and had parachute payments, and then had a big payment and come back down at a parachute payment. You know, our rise is a little bit different, and our owner gives me as much as he possibly can, but he's not in the same league as 3/4 of the owners in the Premier League, and as I said, it's not a criticism of my owner. You've done bits and pieces with him. He loves his football, loves the Premier League, and he's given me as much as he possibly can, which I respect. But there is a limit to that. So, as I've said always, we have to be smart, and we have to work, harder than possibly anybody else has to in the Premier League to add to our group. But I'm confident we can do it, and no moaning. We just get on with it.
Of the signings that you have made, you just mentioned Oliver Burke, and we've just been speaking to him. Are we likely to see more of the new signings coming in for this game against Burnley, do you think? Is it going to be a changed side in a big way?
Yeah, it is, yeah. I believe the majority of sides watched the game last night, the Villa game, and obviously quite a lot of changes there. There was 2 or 3 that we expect to play. I shouldn't imagine they'll leave the captain out from on Monday night. Fantastic player that he is, and a great signing by Dean to get Jack to re-sign. And obviously Ollie Watkins, they've signed, look like signing a couple more as well. But I'm in the same position as the majority of Premier League clubs, as I said, undergoing a really strange pre-season where, the minutes between different players is so off the scale. Some lads have hardly played any football. Some lads have had 4 or 5 games. So we've got to try and match that up. I was one of the things I was delighted was on Monday night was the energy levels. We went right to the end, even though we couldn't manage to find a goal to make it an interesting last 20-25 minutes. But the energy levels were good, but there will definitely be changes tonight. Ollie will start. Jayden Bogle and Max Lowe will start as well. And some of the boys that weren't involved, the rest of the boys weren't involved on Monday will make their first starts of the season at Burnley on Thursday.
Just finally from me, obviously the Premier League, very much the place to be these days, and it looks as though Gareth Bale's going to be making a return to Tottenham if everything goes according to plan. How do you feel about the possibility of seeing another big name like that coming back to the Premier League? It really sort of sets the standard as to just how big a league this is, doesn't it?
It sets the standard how big a league there was, but I think I said a couple of years ago when we first landed in the Premier League, when Eden Hazard was going to Real Madrid, I'll give him a lift to the airport, and hopefully Gareth stays in Madrid. It's a lovely place, Madrid, and there's some great golf courses there. So don't make it any harder for us, Fraser. And Gareth and Spurs, but I'm not surprised that he wants to come and play in the Premier League. As I said, our experience of it over the last year has been fabulous, and we want more of that. And I suppose, there'll be a lot of Spurs fans wishing that to happen today, but I don't think there'll be a lot of Sheffield United fans wishing that to happen, because that just causes another problem when we have to play the likes of Tottenham and the other big hitters.
Thanks very much, Chris. Cheers,
Fraser. Thanks.
Chris, having had a good run in the FA Cup last season, is competing for trophies something that can be realistic for this club now?
I think we've got to be realistic and talk about another season in the Premier League. I think that's got to be our main aim. As always, establish ourselves in the Premier League. What position that we finish the next year? When the season ends, I haven't got a crystal ball on that one, but certainly that has to be our aim, to establish ourselves as a Premier League club year in, year out. I know Sean Dyche spoke about it, and I hugely admire what he's achieved. 4 or 5 years being in the Premier League is an enormous achievement for the likes of Burnley, and so it would be an enormous achievement for the likes of Sheffield United as well. So that has to be. There was a process last year on the FA Cup. We had a completely changed side for the third round, and then changed it gradually. and as we sort of went deep into the competition, we made fewer changes, and I suppose we'll go down that road this year if we manage to get through on Thursday. But there'll be a lot of changes on Thursday, and then obviously there's a quick turnaround as well. But the Premier League has to be, for myself, my players, my football club, and the supporters, the bread and butter, and we can't do anything to jeopardise anything. And every point, as I've always said, is hugely important. And of course, winning games of football we enjoy, and we want that to happen. We want that mentality. We want that feel and rhythm coming into our game, which sometimes you only get with a settled side. But I've got to set that off against putting my best side out on Monday night against Villa, because as I said, every game in the Premier League is enormous, and every point is crucial, and that has to we have to make sure that, and I have to make sure that I have one eye on that game as well.
We've had a chance to speak to Ollie Berg. You've got a track record of helping players to realise their potential at this football club. How much do you enjoy being able to do that? And is that something that could happen for Ollie here as well?
We have to, Rob. As I've said before, we have to go down these roads. The one with Ravel last year, we needed somebody that could do something a bit different, but something a bit different is 45 and 50 million pound and 70, 80 grand a week. I'd love to bring David Brooks back to this football club. Why wouldn't I? If he was available, and people talk about, and due respect to Bournemouth and Jason Tyndall and everybody there, and maybe I'm wrong in speaking about David, but I'd love to, we'd love to have kept David, or love to bring him back, a match winner, and the likes of them. You just see the likes of what, reportedly what Jack Grealish is signing for, and what he's worth. So we have to take chances on players, and Ollie knows that. I thought it was a great bit of business. It suits both clubs. Callum, as I said, a terrific boy who did well for us, but we felt that we needed something different on reflection of our first league in the first season in the Premier League. And Ollie's got a point to prove, but we have to go down this road. It's we can't go and get. We can't go and get somebody that for that sort of money. So we have to. Some lads sometimes that have not, hit the heights what they would like to have done in previous clubs. We've got to try and resurrect them, and with their help and our help, turn them into something that benefits us and our football club. The likes of what we've done with the other players. I think you must be bored about when you talk about the players that we've brought in here and got going again, and they've got going as well, Robert. I'll never say it's us. It's a combination of us and the players, and their attitude to it. But we're here to help, and we'll help Ollie as much as we possibly can, and hopefully he finds a home, and he turns out to be a real asset for us, because that's the business that we're in, and that's the market that we shop in.
Florian Balogun at Arsenal is a name that has been linked. Have you had an offer rejected there, and is there still a chance that one could happen?
Yeah, we made an inquiry regarding the young man at Arsenal. Yeah, we made an inquiry, and that's left with the CEO at our football club and at Arsenal. So, I wanted to affect the areas of different areas of the football club, which we felt we have done. I wanted to bring young players in, which I think we have done, and so as you can imagine, sort of the last one that we've talked about at the top of the pitch. We want attributes that suit us and hopefully move us forward.
Cheers, Chris. Thank you.
Cheers, Rob.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, mate.
I'm right. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks.
Contentious one to start with. With the calendar being as it is this season and games being condensed into a shorter period of time, and what you've just said about staying up is a priority, quite rightly. Do you think there's room in the calendar this year for the League Cup?
I wouldn't have been surprised if they pulled it, but understand the reasons for not pulling it. We're in strange times, and obviously, unprecedented ones. So things have to change and happen. And obviously, you know, when people are trying to work out what they think was going to happen, that was obviously a suggestion, and that was flying about. So if it was pulled for a year, I wouldn't have been surprised. You know, we're starting on the, you know, we're finishing on the what was it, the 26th of July? Was it July? I can't even. It seems that, yeah, 26th of July, and obviously starting back on the in middle of August, and the season starts on the 12th of September. So it's a different calendar. So things are have had to change. And as I said, I wouldn't have been surprised if it got pulled, but it isn't. It's here, and as I've always said, we'll deal with the fixture list, how it comes out, whatever teams we have to play, whatever fixtures are put in, whatever cup competitions are there for us to compete in. We'll address it and see if we can get a result. As I said, it's going to be a changed team for us, Ian, tonight, but I'm one that I'm looking forward to looking at, because I've been mightily impressed by the likes of Jayden Bogle and Max Lowe. And Ethan will play tonight. He'll get his first start tonight, and Berkey will as well, Oliver Burke. So really looking forward to those players playing, and obviously we've got some players that are desperate to get into our side as well. So yeah, the calendar is what it is, and we'll get on with it.
What reaction are you looking for after Monday?
No, it's not. You know, it's not panic stations for us. We made two small mistakes in the space of 6 minutes. Loved the game to have kicked off at 6 o'clock, but it kicked off at 6 minutes past 6 for our boys. Yeah, we made a couple of mistakes that got punished very, very severely. And you've seen it, you know, we missed a tackle, and then all of a sudden, you know, counter-attack, the pace that Wolves have, and Jimenez, it's a fabulous finish, and then one centre-half stumbles into the other centre-half, and then all of a sudden Saiss has a free header, and you're chasing the game. And really, in the Premier League, when you're playing the likes of Wolves, it's a double difficult situation to get out of. But you know what? We had a right go, and I'm delighted about that. And I think, you know, speaking to Nuno afterwards, he understood that, you know, that wasn't an easy night for them. We pushed and pushed and pushed. They had some opportunities on the counter-attack, but our desire and enthusiasm and belief was great. And it's the Premier League. You get punished for individual mistakes, and we never punished them when they made small mistakes or we created something. So, yeah, again, the bit in between was okay. Both boxes decide a game, and they were more clinical than us, and they put men behind the ball and counted on us, and we had decent possession, especially second half, and forced the issue. But as always, here, my team, from my point of view, gets judged on a lot of aspects, and the biggest thing is the attitude and the character. And there was bundles of that out there. They didn't stick the white flag up. You know, to go 2-0 down after 6 minutes in a Premier League game in the first game of the season is a really testing position to put yourself in. But we got a foothold in the game. As I said, it wasn't our best performance, but there was a lot of positives that we took for it. So we're okay. We'll move on quickly. As we talked about before, you have to move on quickly in the Premier League. It hurts. You're back into work. You're preparing for the next game, and we will do that in our way.
Didn't people overreact too quickly? I mean, there was a 48-hour inquest into West Ham's defeat on their opening day. Suddenly Spurs, the only thing which stopped that inquest is the talk of Gareth Bale going back. Do you think, in general, just everybody overreacts to results one way or another? I mean, everyone thinks Arsenal win the league now because they won at the weekend and Aubameyang signed a new deal.
Yeah, maybe I should make a bid for Gareth Bale, and then that might take all the heat off me then. But I don't think they'll take that too seriously, Real Madrid.
You could pay some of his wages.
Yeah, possibly play his flight. I don't think we'll be able to play his private jet flight over from Madrid to Doncaster, Sheffield, as it's called now, the airport. I always think it's the Premier League, it's the media coverage that it gets. You know, we were wrote off before a ball was kicked last year, so. You know, it is what it is. You have to deal with it. You know, sometimes you stick things on the wall. Sometimes you laugh and chuckle. Sometimes it nips away yeah. So that's our characters, but you know, we have to believe what we're doing. As I've said, there's a long way to go. I think I got asked the question, you know, will Wolves get in the Champions League after they beat Sheffield United 2-0? I've got to say, I haven't got a crystal ball. I'm not Mystic Meg. They are an excellent side and they will go very, very well. I get that. And we lost to an outstanding side. But in the end of the world, I suppose, you know, people will make assumptions and come out with I think at times lazy sort of statements and stuff that, you know, that you can't get your head round at times. But I think you know what you can affect is your team. And as I said, there's a lot of positives from the team on Monday. You know, have we set ourselves up by having a fantastic season? Yeah, but would I have changed that season? I wouldn't change it for anything. Yeah, but that's gone, and we have to move on. We're in a better shape than last year, I believe. We've still got to find a rhythm, as I should imagine a lot of those teams in the Premier League, even some that are even won on over the weekend, will say. And there's an awful long time to go and a lot of games to be played. So reflection, as always, for me is made at the end of the season, not after 90 minutes in the first game in the Premier League.
And final one, obviously no fans again for this game or indeed for your opener against Villa, but light at the end of the tunnel because the EFL are having pilot schemes. There'll be 1,000 fans at some games, and maybe in October we might see fans at...
I just don't know where we are with it all. I've got to say, I haven't got a clue. Where are can I go and see my nan? Am I allowed to see my nan? Am I allowed to see my mum? But then we can have 1,000 people in the ground, but we can't have 15,000, and then I can't go and have a pint with my mates unless there's only 6 of us. So I've got to say, I'm like majority of the people in this country have not got a clue what's going off.
Good luck.
I've got a clue. If anybody can help me, I'll try and affect that game of football and help with the staff and the boys getting a result. But everything else, all that other stuff, I ain't got a clue.